It's our pal Ian Beckles. What's going on, Beck?
How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Did you see my I said we're going to try to talk today without talking about the NFL. We're going to get back into football somehow. Some roundabout way. But I wanted to ask you about a couple things. I wanted to start with Alexander Ovechkin breaking the record yesterday. As a kid that grew up in Montreal and to be able to see Wayne Gretzky do everything for the Edmonton Oilers, like I just you looked at Gretzky like rarefied air. Like I didn't think it was ever going to be broken. When you see what Alexander Ovechkin did yesterday, and in the fashion that he does it right. Like he's a beer drink. He's like Stone Cold. Like he's a beer drinking. You look at him without a shirt on. You're like, that's not a guy that scored 895 goals. Like he's more like American than than he really understands. Man, he's wild. To be able to see that, what were kind of some of the thoughts that came to your head?
Well, I did grow up with Wayne Gretzky, and being from Canada, I heard about Wayne Gretzky before he got into the league. I mean, it was like a lore. Like you heard his name, and like you got to figure when Wayne Gretzky got into the NHL, he was breaking records immediately. So
Right.
think about what he was doing in like AAA hockey and stuff. It was stupid. So I heard about you hear Phil Esposito's father tell him enjoy your records now because Wayne's going to beat him. I still think Wayne Gretzky is the best or the most dominant athlete I've ever seen, still to this point. That being said, there was a time where I said nobody's ever going to beat his record, and when somebody said Ovechkin's about to beat his record, I go, what? Like it almost like sideswiped me. I'm like, not
Right.
Gretzky. Nobody's going to beat him. Nobody's going to beat his points record. That's not going to happen. But the fact that Ovechkin caught up to him in goals, period, is crazy. And I remember there used to be an argument Ovechkin or Crosby. I was always on team Ovechkin. I've always liked the way Ovechkin plays. It's not like Crosby's not a good player, but I was always been a fan of Ovechkin and the way he plays.
I think Crosby just broke the record for most 20-goal seasons consecutively for Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah. Oh,
So like
really?
for them to both be still balling out, like I don't think you could go wrong. I mean, both number one picks 1 year after the other. I mean, Crosby won 3 cups, Ovechkin won one, but he owns the goal record. Like those are two. I mean, you could argue about that for the rest of your life. I don't know if you're going to be wrong. We talk a lot about the LeBron MJ
Yeah.
thing, but I think the Crosby and Ovechkin one. I think that's another great argument to have. And where could you go wrong? Like it didn't have the same teams over the years that Crosby did, but he was more of an efficient goal scorer. Crosby, a little more of an all around game, better defensively. I mean, I tell you what, they're both winners. You can't go wrong either way. What does it say about a guy like that, Ian? Because Chris, who just joined us there from DC, he brought up a great point that early on in his career, you looked at a guy and they heard he liked to party a lot. And you don't know when you hear about that from a kid that's, in his, late teens, early 20s, you don't know if he's really taking his craft seriously. But when you then prove it, like you are legit, and then you continue to score and you continue to keep winning, and then you win a cup, I think the narrative has to change. And Chris just said it has, because then to me, it's like, all right, well, if you like to party, what does that mean? It means you're around your teammates. And if you're a good teammate, I think they'll follow you. And I just think it's amazing throughout this entire run with him being like, he has got so many old teammates and people. Derek Jeter's making videos for him, and Simone Biles and Michael Phelps. Like, they don't do that for people that aren't engaging, that aren't good teammates, that aren't good people, that aren't good leaders. I mean, how important is that to be able to have a guy that is he's just willing to be one of the guys instead of like, I'm up here and everybody else is down here?
Well, it's funny. You almost uncovered King Tut's tomb there. But what you just said, you basically just said you could be a party animal as long as you're a good person and you're a good player. That's what you said, and you're 100% right.
Yeah.
We only talk about the party animals that don't succeed or aren't playing well. If they eliminated party animals from sports, there'd be no hockey players. I'm serious. Like I've never been out with a hockey player and they didn't drink an inordinate amount of beer. Okay, I've never seen that. There'd be zero football players. There might be a couple basketball players, a couple lacrosse players, but everybody that I've ever played with, quarterbacks, linemen, defensive linemen, they're all party animals. That's part of it. And I think the press likes to get involved in that guy likes to hang out, but that dude that likes to hang out is also the ringleader. He's also the gang leader, and he's also the spiritual leader. So, hockey, when they get together, those guys are going to party, man. I mean, That's been a thing. Hockey, beer is around hockey more than maybe I've seen any other sport. So the fact that he drinks a god awful or a god good, a god awful amount of beer, uh, that's almost like a monkey piano that your boy said, Russell. Get the monkey piano off your back. You know what I'm saying?
When he said, I was like, I like that. Get the monkey
Yeah,
piano. Because
I'm
people
gonna
say,
use
get the
that.
monkey, get the piano. I like the monkey piano for
Yeah,
sure.
man.
Hey, I wanted to ask you something about fan interaction. Because there is Boston Celtics fans last night yelling at Marcus Smart, saying a fan crossed the line when he was heckling the road team's bench. And then we also saw something over the weekend with Manchester United, Manchester City, where Phil Foden from City is walking off the field and people are yelling at him about his mom, who got arrested a couple of years ago in an abuse thing where she got into a fight. Um, where is the line for you as a guy that played professional sports? Because you have these fans, and we've seen Russell Westbrook have his interactions with fans over the years, and even LeBron and Kevin Durant. Like, where do you fall as far as that whole argument of, well, the fans, they paid for a ticket, they're allowed to say and they're allowed to boo and say whatever they want. But there's also there's got to be a line somewhere. Like, it's one thing to boo to a guy or say that he stinks or something like that, but once you start getting personal, I feel like there's got to be a discussion that has to be had. Where do you fall, knowing that you've seen it from the professional athlete side, but also covering it too in the media over the years?
Well, there's no line. First of all, we all know when they say where's the line, that means that it doesn't exist. Okay, you could ask me 100 different situations, and I might give you 100 different answers. One I might be on the fan side, one I might be on
Right.
the athlete side. Okay, so around our test, okay, everybody's like, he can't. If somebody throws a beer on me and I see him throw it on me, I'm going up in the stands. I'm just telling you, I won't be able to stop myself from going up in the stands. So I don't want to. And what you said, the fans pay their money, so blah blah, bullshit. Okay, because we're all human. All right,
Right.
I'm human and you're human. And if I'm walking by you and you walk by me, look me right in my face and say something that you can't say in a bar, I have every right to dot your eye. I
Mm-hmm.
have every right. Now, you're not allowed to put your hands on people, but fans, for some reason, think that they're special and that an athlete shouldn't react. Oh, how about Joe Giovicius going in Philadelphia and they're talking about his kid? I mean, listen, if he went up in the stands, would everybody say you shouldn't do that? So I hate to draw a line because everybody's line is going to be different. If my wife passed, my wife left me, and some guy bust my balls, my wife leaving me, I'm going up in the stands. So every situation to me is individual. Um, most of the time, most of the time for me, I'm going to lean on the athlete side because fans don't know no different. That's real.
Isn't that wild? I mean, so I see. I'm with you, man. I lean more towards of they're human beings, but there are times it's like, do the athletes have to take the higher road? Do they have to ignore it? Right? Because even going back to the Jackie Robinson days, right? Like, he heard the worst that anybody's ever going to hear, and if he didn't act the way that he acted,
Mhm.
who knows what the world would be like? It's more than just baseball. Who knows what the world would be like if he didn't bite his tongue, if he didn't take the high road? So what do you say to that when people look at the
Yeah.
athletes like, hey, you get paid these millions amount of, you
Mhm.
get paid millions of dollars, like, ignore it?
Well, first of all, Jay, it's a great question, okay? And I don't know if anybody's ever asked me that question or really any black person that question. We know it's not the same to be white and the black. We know that, right? Okay.
Right.
Although we should all be treated the same, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
If I said to you, Jay, I know a black guy who went to a club and he was letting white people call him the N word, would you say he's strong or weak?
Yeah. Hard for me to judge, but I don't like it.
Okay, but
Don't like it.
okay, you don't like it, okay? Because I don't like it either. I've said this before. They handpicked Jackie Robinson now. Now, you have to be strong to not go in the stands. I get that. But I'm going to let everybody know I'm a strong person, but I'm going up in the stands. I'm a different person than Jackie Robinson. He had to be a mild-mannered person who's able to take stuff. I could name you 1,000 black athletes that can't do what Jackie Robinson did,
Right.
but they're still strong individuals, okay? So it would have happened eventually. You can't keep black people out of sports. And I don't want everybody to think that Jackie Robinson did it. First of all, he's the most. He was under the spotlight. Everybody was watching him. But there was so many other thousands of black athletes that had to deal with the same thing
Right.
in so many different sports that I don't want everybody to think that Jackie Robinson was the strongest black man ever. I'm not downplaying what Jackie Robinson did. It was amazing what he did. I just don't think I can do it. And a strong black man, that's not where we would start in 2025, is letting people call you the N-word. That's not what I would speak. That's not what I would start when I'm looking for strong black men.
I'm with you. And I think we get into a slippery slope when we start, we talk about situations like that. And then there's almost like a creating of a narrative that maybe isn't even there. When you have people come out and say, well, the reason why Caitlin Clark was so popular is because, she was a white girl from middle America. And I'm just like, well, she also was shooting the ball from the logos. A woman has never done that before. I mean, she's doing what Steph Curry was doing. And I think that's a divide.
Let's stop it right there, Jay. First of all, I hate this conversation, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it doesn't matter what you say, they won't change their mind, okay?
Right.
It doesn't matter what, okay? But if you just stop right there with what you said, and I ask you, it has nothing to do with white or black. I mean, say you have to take white or black out, then put it back in.
Yeah.
Right where you were, if Caitlin Clark, shooting the way she does, was black, listen to what I'm saying now, would she be as popular? Yes or no? What's the answer?
I would say no.
Okay, it's no, Jay. It's no, because America, the people who buy stuff, 95% of them are white. They have all the money. If you go to an NFL game, hockey game, baseball game, basketball game, there's white people in the stands buying white products. Now, there's black athletes, but
right.
if you're a white athlete, you're gonna draw to. I know a NASCAR guy. Who's that? The black guy, Bubba something. Who's the black guy there? I don't even know his name. The NASCAR guy. Anyway, I don't know no NASCAR guys, but I know the black guy. You don't
know the black guy.
Bubba Watson or something.
Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace. That's the guy.
I don't know a NASCAR guy, but I know the black guy. I just don't know his name.
But listen, Jay, if I was watching a NASCAR, I would cheer for Bubba Wallace because, why not, right?
But why though? But why? Because he's what? He's
black.
Yeah, but why does it stick out more?
Well, Jay. Okay.
Wait. Answer. Just follow me here. I followed you there. Follow me here.
Why does it stick out more?
Because there's not many of them.
Agreed.
That's part of the reason. That's part of the reason why.
But he's not leading anything. No, if he was.
I know. But what I'm saying is that part of the reason is, yes, and I agree with that. The consumerisms, right? The consumers that are getting the product. But another reason why Caitlin Clark is so big, it's not because she's the first white girl that was good. It's because there's not that many. There's not that many white girls in the WNBA. So that's part of it. It's not the whole thing. That's why people think it's one or the other. Like, above all else, she had to be good. That's the first thing that she had to be. She had to do something that was going to catch somebody's eye. Because you know who didn't do this? Breanna Stewart. Breanna Stewart has the greatest college basketball resume of all time. 4 times into the national championship game with UConn. She was the most outstanding player all 4 times. Like, you don't see this. You don't see this from men. You don't see it from women. She won a championship with the Liberty, but still, if Breanna Stewart walks down the sidewalk, maybe people don't know who she is. She's white. Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird are the 2 most decorated women in women's basketball. They're white. Like, what do you know what I mean? So it's like, but they didn't change the game. Jay,
more people know them than a lot of other players.
No doubt. But Candace Parker, right? Candace Parker is one of the most visible. She's doing NBA. She's doing men's stuff.
One of the best. She's also one of the best ever, one of the prettiest ever.
No doubt about it. But she's not white. You know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, she's a leader, right? She's a leader. She won. She went to Chicago. She went home. She won. Now she's on NBA TV. She's doing stuff with Shaq and Kenny and D Wade and everybody. Okay, which is great.
Let me ask you.
What I'm saying is that this whole thing with Caitlin Clark, right, is that if we just look at it as the only reason why she's as popular that she is because she's a white girl from Middle America, that's ignorant. Who talks like that? Anybody that's what Monica McNutt said, man. Monica McNutt, who's on national TV, she does ESPN. But that's what I'm saying, Ian. You have to be, when you give people a platform to say things in front of millions of people, and this is something this is part of the reason why you and I always get along. okay, is that you and I
Not
don't take.
always. Not always.
No, this one thing I'm talking about. You son of a bitch. This one thing I'm talking about is that you and I take our platforms very serious.
Correct.
We're not going to say things just to say them.
Thank you.
We're not going to say things to make people happy. We're not going to say things just because it goes along with what everybody is saying. Right? We've always been like that. You and I, this is why we're as good of friends as we are, is because that type of aspect of life, our perspective, our point of view is the same way. We may not agree on certain things, but you and I have never, ever gotten to a point where we're just going to say something to say it. We're not going to say something to make each other feel better. And that's the thing that bothers me, is that when people have a platform and you say something in a topic that is so divisive, right? Where people either like somebody or don't like somebody because of the color of their skin. You can't get on a platform and just say something like that, because as we have just shown in the last 7 minutes of talking about this, it's not one or the other. It's a complex conversation. Is it part of it? No doubt. That's why I said no. It's certainly part of the conversation. But if you don't go into, there's been other white women, it's because she's a white woman that is in a sport that is a lot of black women. If you don't have layered discussions about things like this, then that's, I think, more harmful than good, because you're not talking about the greatness of Caitlin Clark. You're not boosting up Angel Reese or any other, whether it's white or African-American females in the WNBA. All you're doing is spitting shit out there, and it's pissing people off. And I don't like sports talk like that. And I think people are getting farther and farther away from appreciating that. Just look at the Stephen A. LeBron thing of like, yeah, people are talking about it, but it's turning people off. I know a lot less people that are tuning into the show because it's like, let's just throw some shit out there to get people mad. I don't want to be involved with sports if it's like that. You and I, when we have discussions, even if we don't agree, I think we get to a better place at the end of it, even if we don't necessarily have the same point of view.
Well, that's why you come to Dignitary Cafe. We don't talk politics. We talk subjects, okay? Not so Trump, we try not to do that, although it happens sometimes. We don't like a whole lot of religion. But when you're talking about popularity, and we'll use politics, okay? Mike Calta is a good example. I'm on Mike Calta's show. I was on it this morning. Mike Calta is a Trump guy, okay? But he's still able to say, well, God damn it, that's stupid, and this is not working. Those are the kind of guys I can talk to. Like, there's only two sides. You pick the side, okay, go with it, that's cool. My thing with the Caitlin Clark thing, there's going to be people that thought she was going to be good. Some people didn't think they were going to be good. They're going to be right and wrong. But there's, just like I just thought Mrs. McNutt said, I didn't like the way she phrased it. In America, I don't want anybody to tell me if I let you put money or invest in an athlete in any sport in America, and they're all even, and one is white and one is black. If you pick the black one, you're wrong. You're taking out a large portion of the country that won't cheer for a black person. There's a lot. There is. We hear about them. They're just not going to cheer or buy a jersey from a black person. So why would you pick the black person over the white person? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Caitlin Clark is good, better than anybody. All I say is, in America, when you're a professional athlete and you're Caucasian, you start off popularity-wise 40% up. That's just life. I mean, if you go to Uganda and you're a white athlete, you ain't going to make it. You ain't going to make it. Okay, it's a majority thing because everybody in the stands is going to be black. So, listen, I watch Caitlin Clark, and anybody says she's not something, you're wrong, okay? That's why I think Caitlin Clark is in such a bad position. I'm being serious about that. Caitlin Clark is in the middle of being around people. She's never I never heard her say anything wrong racially, but she has racists using her as a platform, and she doesn't want that. Right. It's bad for her, okay? It's a bad.
But the other side, I think the other side's true though as well.
What's that?
She's catching vitriol for things 100%. That has nothing to do with her.
100%.
So she's caught in the middle of.
But everybody's they're gonna talk about her. She's the one. She's it. They're gonna talk about her. So listen, Caitlin, if you're it, she's it already. She's second year and she's it. There's nobody bigger than her in the WNBA. It's not close. She is Michael Jordan. So from now on, she's catching it. She better get used to it because she's it. Done.
Yeah, and for her, again, I think this goes back into what sport she's in, right? It's what sport she's in because we're not having this conversation about Mike Trout. We're not having this conversation about Otani or Aaron Judge, right? We're not having that. We're not even having it in the NFL. We're not having it about Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow,
But Jay,
right?
you could. You still can.
Yeah,
You
but
still can.
I don't
Listen,
know if you can though because of who she.
100%, 100%. You can't tell me if Christian McCaffrey was black, he would be as popular. He's not gonna. He's not gonna.
I
You
mean,
know
it's
how
hard
many
to say.
little white boys?
The
You
most,
know
yeah,
how
but
many
the most.
little white boys have Christian McCaffrey jerseys on? And listen, I don't want you to think that I don't think he's great because he's fantastic. But the reason why these little boys have Christian McCaffrey jerseys on because they can see themselves in Christian McCaffrey. That's life. That's
Again,
all I want us to see.
but again, it's a fair point, and the reason being is that the same thing with Caitlin Clark in a country where being white is the majority. We just looked at two examples of where the white people are the minority. You don't see white basketball players like that, and you don't see white running backs. So that even though you're not wrong, like that even puts more gas on it, right? Because now the majority of the country is looking at a portion or a sect of people where they're the minority, and then that person is really good. So that goes into the conversation too. And I think Caitlin Clark's is, I don't know if it's comparable at the level because she's the face of the league, whether people like her or not. And then you have people that are not as accepting as her in the league, not necessarily. They're making it hard on her like every rookie, right? But, some of the comments that happen off the court, and it's just like, well, all right, well, you turn it into that. And even, we got the same thing with Dawn Staley before the championship game. Oh, well, everybody's making a big deal out of Paige Beckers like they did with Caitlin Clark last year. And it was just like, well, they're National Player of the Year. This happens in every game, right? It happened in Florida State when they played Virginia Tech in the national championship game years ago when all the talk was about who? Michael Vick, because he was a beast, right? So, like, it just happens when it's a strong team going against a Seminole player, but what people said about that. Here's Dawn Staley complaining about the white girls again. Like that kind of stuff is just the conversations, unfortunately, that we still have in this country.
Well, this is the unfortunate part for me, okay? I'm a fan of Caitlin Clark. I'm going to give you a great example. I'm a fan of the way Tim Tebow plays football. I've always liked the way he plays the game. His fans make me at times go, come on. You see what I'm saying? I think it's the same with a lot of athletes. You see what I'm saying? Like, Caitlin Clark she's so talented, and when people say, well, why do they not embrace her in the league? Because she's the enemy, and all they're hearing is about her.
Right.
Nobody's talking about them. Now, is it warranted? A little bit, but as an opponent. If you ask me about Caitlin Clark and I'm playing Caitlin Clark, fuck Caitlin Clark. I'm not going to say, well, she's great. She's a great passer. And so when people do that, they think it's hate when it's just not love. I don't have to love her. Oh, they should embrace her. She's bringing the money. I'm not embracing nobody on the other team. And I just don't see people want Angel Reese to talk good about Caitlin Clark. They are enemies. They can't like each other. You think Bird and Magic liked each other? They respected each other, but they didn't like each other until afterwards. I just think there's just so many perceptions of the way people are treating. Why are they knocking her down? She's all their money because she's a rookie. And she's getting treated like every rookie got treated, and you only noticing when she gets knocked down.
Yeah, well, because there's that racial divide, just the way it goes. Even though the same thing happened to LeBron, the same thing happened to Michael Jordan, the same thing happened to all these other players, same thing happened to Bird and Magic and Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. Right, it happened to everybody. Beck, what's going on? 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard, the Dignitary Cafe. What do you guys got going on over there, buddy?
Funny you ask. We have an event coming up on Saturday. Best blunt in the Bay. And,
what?
Anybody who's a blunt roller, and we're doing this with Suncoast Normal. Anybody who's a blunt roller, we're going to have a contest. This is the young lady that won last year. Her name is Indica Fetish. You might want to go on the Twitter or X and Miss Indica Fetish. I'll be going against her. She has some interesting stuff on her X.
Wow.
Indica fetish. She likes to show her toes and her other accoutrements.
Wow. You're battling with her?
Yeah, I'm going head to head with Indica fetish.
Nice. How many people are going to be there to show their skills?
That I don't know. I mean, Suncoast Normal, they're all the cannabis alliance and to legalize it and all those kind of things. They're having it here, and it should be fun for all you 420 enthusiasts. Saturday at about 8:00.
Yeah, we are about 2 weeks away.
Yeah, man.
April 20.
2 weeks. It's this weekend.
2 weeks. No, I'm saying 2 weeks from 420.
Oh, wow. It's always 420 at Dignitary Cafe.
4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Go check them out at Dignitary Cafe. Ian_Beckles on all social media platforms. Appreciate you, Beck. Good talk today, buddy. You did get Christian McCaffrey in there, you son of a gun. You got
one love.
See you, my brother. Be well.